everyone. I am Kareem Boy Things Weathers.
Thank you for joining us today as I host this important discussion on mental health. Yes, people, mental health, a subject many of us prefer to keep cloaked. The pandemic has made it painfully clear that our collective emotional health is in jeopardy. Yet from depression to schizophrenia, mental illness as a fit subject for conversation has been shifted to our backrooms, if spoken of at all, courtesy of prevailing stigma. With Jamaica's pervasive mental health issues, which undoubtedly have been made worse by the impact of COVID-19 crisis, it is time to challenge the stigma and shine light on mental illness. Initiatives like this enable information and experience sharing to improve and save lives. Challenging, caring, sharing, and finding solutions to Jamaica's mental health epidemic is Guardian Life's urgent response to the matter. Guardian Life acknowledges mental health wellness as significant. The need to act as influence the company's decision to partner with the Ministry of Health and Wellness to have this open discussion under the theme of renewed mindset, mental health and well-being during and after COVID-19. This public-private collaboration between Guardian Life and the Ministry of Health and Wellness is about building cultures of health in order to reduce the burden of poor mental health amongst our population. Through their combined efforts, they hope to reduce the burden and maximize overall health and well-being. We'll now invite the architects of this event, Guardian Life, to extend the welcome, followed by Minister Tufton's message.
Greetings, Jamaica. Guardian Life is extremely pleased to partner with the Ministry of Health and Wellness to host this forum that focuses on mental wellness. As a member of the largest financial services provider in the Caribbean, we pride ourselves on taking a holistic approach to our clients' wellness, paying attention to the financial, physical, and mental realm of the individual. These are carefully demonstrated through our carefully crafted products and services that can address your needs at every stage of your life as we continue to partner with you to look after your life. Without these financial support, one's mental well-being will be seriously affected. That's why a forum such as this is important to address the issues associated with the topic that is oftentimes overlooked and unexplored. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy these thought-provoking presentations with your favorite person or your favorite drink.
Hi, I'm Chris Tufton, Minister of Health and Wellness. COVID-19 has brought psychosocial challenges for many while increasing the vulnerability of those who were living with a mental health disorder before the pandemic. Many are experiencing fear, anxiety, and depression associated with having their ability to provide for themselves and their families under threat, while school closures have isolated children from their friends and teachers. It is important, therefore, that we prioritize mental health given the ongoing social and economic challenges associated with this pandemic. The focus of this program, a renewed mindset, mental health and well-being during and after COVID-19, is timely. I want to thank Guardian Life and their collaboration with the Ministry of Health and Wellness to bring this to the people of Jamaica, even as I welcome their efforts to support an enabling environment for mental wellness. It is time to change our mindset about mental health. I propose we do so by first recognizing that we are all vulnerable to developing a mental illness. Data from the World Health Organization has shown that mental disorders affects 1 in 4 persons. I urge us to recognize that help is available for those living with or otherwise affected by mental illness. Access to counseling and referral is available through our mental health and suicide prevention helpline at 888-NEW-LIFE. That's 888-639-5433. We have weekly mental health clinics, the schedules for which are available on our website at www.moh.gov.jm. We have a mental health webpage, which includes a message board where people can share their stories. We continue to progress the Reach Out Rangers program to help to address the psychosocial needs of persons impacted by COVID-19. More than 100 rangers have been trained in psychological first aid and are available to speak with members of the public in need. All that is required is that the persons book their appointments to speak to a ranger via the mental health page of the ministry's website. We also need to end the stigma against persons living with mental illness. Stigma is a barrier to care. Each of us have a role to play in helping to ensure that we all enjoy good mental health. Let's make it happen. Thank you, and commendations again to Guardian Life and those at the Ministry of Health and Wellness who have contributed to this very timely and important program.
Let's now welcome Dr. Kevin Goldburn, Director, Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, Health Services Planning and Integration, Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Even before the COVID-19 crisis, behavioral health problems such as anxiety, stress, and depression were widespread, constituting a leading cause of diminished well-being and exacting an enormous toll in the form of familial conflicts, community tension, violence, self-harm, absenteeism, reduced productivity, and increased healthcare costs. Then came the coronavirus pandemic, and the resultant economic recession have further negatively affected many people's mental health and escalated conditions for people already suffering from mental illnesses and substance use disorders. In fact, COVID-19 could result in a potential 50% increase in the prevalence of behavioral health conditions. Majority of people experience mental health problems at some point in their lives, particularly during these uncertain times of COVID-19 pandemics and lockdowns. Feelings of isolation, loneliness, grief, distress, anxiety, and fears are not uncommon. I believe that mental health is one of the biggest health challenges of our age. Discussions such as this will certainly help to reduce the aftershocks of this pandemic that is trying hard to chip away at the happiness and well-being of children, adolescents, adults, and the elderly alike. Stigma and discrimination are also damaging to us all, as those with mental health challenges are less likely to seek timely care and treatment for fear of being labeled and ostracized. No one wants to be labeled mad. We who occupy seats of influence must be agents of change. The Ministry of Health and Wellness and Guardian Life recognize this, and programs like this will certainly help to make the breakthrough that is necessary. But breakthroughs require a shift in our thinking. It means open discussions, calls for facing our truths, even if they are not pretty. This gathering is all about that. So let's talk. Let's be open and honest with ourselves and others. Let's, after today's discussion, commit to beating the stigma, help those struggling with mental illness, and guard our own state of mind. If you or your loved ones are experiencing emotional distress, please call our 24-hour mental health and suicide prevention helpline. 888-NEW-LIFE, that's NEWLIFE, or 888-639-5433. A counselor awaits your call to provide support. Anyone can become emotionally distressed or mentally ill. The key is to get help and not suffer in silence.
We'll now take a break, and when we return, we go straight into a renewed mindset session. Be sure to check out Guardian Life's social media pages and participate, and you could be a winner. Welcome back. We'll be wrapping with our special guest, counseling psychologist, writer, motivational speaker, Dr. June Pinkney, trainer transformation coach, CEO of Dynamic Lifestyle Studio, Patrice J. White, life coach, actress, mental health advocate, Julie Mango Bodley, and writer, trainer, linguist, social media influencer, Raoul Blaze. I welcome you all. Thank you. To go into it, Dr. Pinkney, firstly, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
This discussion is a very, very serious one, mental health. I want you to explain to us what is the mental health situation like currently in Jamaica.
So, like the rest of the world, we had our own issues, and now they've been multiplied.
Yes.
They've tripled, and they exist, and persons are trying to cope. But there are some persons who are certainly not doing as well as they could. Persons who are able to hold it down, persons who are seemingly doing well and comfortable with themselves, are fearful are having anxiety issues. And then there is the deaths.
Yes.
The deaths that have come as a result of COVID-19.
Yes.
And that in and of itself has a whole host of emotions, including depression, including being in denial, including just wanting to know why and not having the answers.
Well, you're absolutely right. A lot of us are trying to cope, and all of the COVID-19 pandemic and not being able to interact. That's the important point.
Yeah. The absence of being able to just be there with each other in a way which is intimate. And of course, intimacy has several layers of it. Yeah. But even with your general friends, you can't have that kind of interaction, and the camaraderie is all verbal and not physical, and we are accustomed to that. And so the absence of that will cause persons to have issues with having those desires. So the touch hunger is very, very strong, certainly in our culture, because of what we're accustomed to.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to go into some of our panels. First here is Patrice J. White, and let me know, what was the first time you've noticed that something might have been wrong and that you might have needed additional help or professional help?
It came crashing down for me in 2015. I've struggled with depression for years, but it's something that once I'm moving, once I'm active, and I'm not left alone with my thoughts, then I'm okay.
Yes.
In 2015, the reality of it came crashing full force, and I realized that I needed to get professional help. So I just continued doing the things that I was doing for my coping mechanism right throughout 2015 until I get to 2018, October 2018, when I almost committed suicide. So that was then I realized that I needed professional help, because the coping mechanism of dealing with my illness was no longer working. Right. And then, it came full-folded when my daughter didn't want to go to school because she's afraid that when she goes to school the next day, she's going to get a phone call that her mom is no longer around. So then that's when I now got the professional help that I needed. For me, COVID have affected me mentally in terms of the restrictions that it has placed on me for the things that I normally do. So I'm the type of person where I'm always traveling, doing races. Races for me is my me time. It's what Pat do when she's not working. And because of what is going on worldwide, I was afraid of traveling. So it's not a case that I was no longer traveling. I started traveling back, but I was not traveling to do races. Right. So again, the thought came back up again as recently as this year, where I went back into that extreme depressed state. I get up in the mornings to work out. My regular sessions are now a mandate of mine, where it's now a regular thing of me. I'm not going to allow myself to sink into that before I start, reaching out for help.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. Julia, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
So the question is also posed to you as well. When did you notice for the first time that something might be wrong mentally, and that you might need additional help or professional help?
So my first self-mutilation was when I was 8 years old.
Yes.
I took a bottle stopper and I cut myself on my thumb. And at that time I thought I was just experimenting. I'm not sure why. And then in high school, I started to suffer, like with the age of 11, 12, thereabout. I started to suffer from some serious depression and self-image issues. So I took part in self-mutilation. I used to cut myself on my left hand for style. So like each day I would do at least 3 cuts. So when you look on my hand, you see like some just cuts coming all the way up right throughout high school. So I knew that something was kind of wrong because I was looking around at everybody else and nobody else is doing this. So I was wondering, okay, something is off. Then now my parents now and my sisters think that I'm crazy and that I'm demon possessed and that I am ungrateful because look how much things my parents provide for me and I'm here cutting myself and wants to mutilate my own body. So they didn't understand. Of course they love me, but they didn't understand what was happening. And then at school, persons would see me and would think I'm a freak because I'm walking around with blood marks on my hand and I don't know what's happening. And I did that right throughout high school because I didn't get the help that I needed because nobody knew what to do. My parents took me to church and they were praying and casting out demons, which I didn't have. And, it just continued, you know what I mean? And so it continued right up until sixth form, and I was a functioning. Probably Dr. Pinkney can give the term to what it is, but I was still able to function. Like I was able to study, take my exams, do my drama, do my cadets. I excelled in cadets, I excelled in academia and stuff. But my mental health was just plummeting. Right? So I don't know. Just by the grace of God, I was able to keep that so-called balance. Then I went to UTech, same story. I started to get my self image from men. I started to find value in men. So I, of course, ended up in very tumultuous relationships and all of that, and it would happen where they would realize that something is wrong, and of course they would leave. So in 2011, right, everything came boiling down because I was in the JDF at the time. And I was camping out at Falmouth Police Station when we were trying to build the Falmouth Police Station. And I remember deciding that I am going to kill myself because the self-mutilation isn't working. I don't have the wherewithal to cut my wrist because it's going to take a while for me to get the knife and use that force. So I reasoned it out with myself. And I said, okay, the best way to do this is to crash the car. So I attempted suicide in November of 2011 on the highway between Delta Company and Falmouth Police Station. The car overturned and ended up in a ditch, and the truck that was coming up swerved and thing. I came out scratch-free. But then the issue is, when I failed at suicide, that made me feel worse. Because here I am, I can't live, and I don't know how to die. Of course, I told my parents, I told my dad, and Daddy started to cry and said, Julie, but you must learn to love yourself. And I said, Dad, I don't know how to love myself. And he's like, you know. And then he started to pray and speak in tongues. And I'm like, here we go again. There were people who thought I was a freak and would spread rumors and would stigmatize me and say things about me. Because I've been there, the humiliation, the ostracism, all of that. I have been there. It has been done to me by both men and women, people in high positions and persons who are my peers. But I had a set of friends who were there for me no matter what, and they loved me regardless. And they have been pushing for me to go to therapy. What is a counselor going to tell me that I don't know? I'm intelligent. I have a degree. I have a first degree, and I know maths. And so they can't tell me about myself. That's a very stupid thing to think. You know what I mean? And eventually I decided to go to therapy. When I was in Jamaica, I was doing therapy, but it wasn't working because of the stigma associated with mental illness. So even though I was getting therapy, the environment still made me so ashamed and still made me feel so different and so weird. Because sometimes the stigma itself is more powerful than the mental illness itself. And the stigma is what can accelerate the worsening of the mental illness. So, after my first attempted suicide, I did another one where I tried to put smoke in my VW car by attaching a hose to the muffler and carrying it on the inside. The other one, I swallowed 100 sleeping pills. I ended up at UE, Ward 21. They pumped my stomach and stuff like that. Basically, what therapy has allowed me to do is to process those things, understand what was happening, understand myself, understand what my triggers are, and learn new ways and new coping mechanisms and new things and new ways to live so that I can wake up in the morning, feel normal, feel great.
Wow. Oh, thank you so much for sharing.
Let me just say, Julie, that I'm so glad you're here. It underscores the fact that you have a purpose. I also congratulate you on the fact that, yes, even though you have attempted, and thank God they were unsuccessful, I'm hearing resilience because clearly there's something deep down inside of you that said, even though I feel helpless, even though I feel hopeless, there's this sense of helplessness and hopelessness, which is what surrounds you when you are depressed. But I still hear that I still want to try. And you got up and you're still there. And I'm saying, I'm happy that you're there. You can be such a force and such a testimony to several persons. And I think that you must continue to tell your story so that persons can know that it's okay to talk about it. I did a presentation recently on mental disorders versus demon possession or demon oppression. And what I found in my research is that a lot of our spiritual persons or leaders from years back, they had the two confused. And so very often when you are mentally ill, they say that you're possessed. And so I'm happy that you are able to take yourself away from that kind of circumstance and get the help, because clearly you're not possessed, and get the kind of help that you needed to get.
And the next gentleman on the panel, Mr. Raul?
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right. So now my question to you is, right, I've also, battled with depression and anxiety. And as a male, Jamaica has kind of stigmatized us a lot that man is supposed to tap on the mental health, we're not supposed to tap on the emotions, we're not supposed to be complaining. You've been very vocal about your journey as well. So 2 questions for you is, number 1, tell us about, when you realized that you needed additional or professional help, and also, how can we destigmatize it, basically? Yeah?
Talk about it.
Yeah, yes. Thanks for having me, everyone. Among, such great people. And I think my journey into understanding or knowing when I needed help, it was twofold. The first time was when I went to the University of the West Indies. And in my first year, I did see the psychologist at the clinic there. After being diagnosed with depression, I didn't go through with my medication. I found joy and medication in being a part of the social life I used to it. I was a big on social life, so I guess I was distracted from my mental illness, but it was always there. And then about 6 years later, I moved to Japan on the JET program. And I was just thrusted in a different environment. And even though for the first 2 years, it was okay. But in my final year of living in Japan, I was placed in a different part. The atmosphere itself was very conducive to falling into depression, whether you had it or not. Because in Japan, they have some towns in Japan called dying towns, because the population in Japan is decreasing swiftly. And also there's a very high suicide in Japan. The day when I moved into that small town, my neighbor upstairs committed suicide. So I turned to alcohol because that would keep me up for a period of time. But the thing is, when that low came, I went lower. So I drank more and more. But I realized the association of alcoholism and with depression. I realized that there was a history of alcoholism on my father's side and also depression on his side and on the side. So my depression and my mental illness is hereditary. I found this out through my own investigation and by looking back at certain characteristics in my family. And this is what it was. So I realized that for me, there was no escape because on both sides, there was mental illness on both sides, so I couldn't escape it. In my journey, it's cathartic because I lift weight from my chest with people who are suffering from depression, finding joy and laughter in what I do. I try to present my depression in a very casual way. Sometimes I make fun of my depression, and so it comes across in a lighter way, So, and men in Jamaica are used to showing their emotions because we are strong and young man, I have to talk to it very, very, understand? But I can say, since I started blogging about my depression, I've had celebrities, DJs, sports personnel, and celebrities, men who have DM'd me and reached out to me and said, brother, respect. We can't talk about this because of so and so. Nobody know, but respect, because I'm glad that as a Jamaican man, you take it up and make it see as a normal thing, because it is very normal. It is so normal. And even here in Florida, or when I come across people who follow me, they feel, because of what I speak about, they come to me openly and say, boy, say that thing there, me feel that way the way I talk about it, and then, so by presenting it as something very normal and not something exclusive, it's not exclusive. It doesn't discriminate. It's science, and science doesn't see religion and gender. So when I present it as something very normal and very natural and not exclusive, I think males can identify these traits in them and try at least to take steps towards addressing it. And that's why I blog about my mental illness.
Wow. Very, very profound. So let me just say though, big up yourself, as a man, it's very important for us to share our stories and to try to normalize having conversations and being vulnerable and let other people know who might not be in the public eye. Like, listen, I might seem like, I have it all together, but I really don't have it all together. So, continue doing it, continue talking about it. I'm applauding you, brother. Big up yourself as well. Dr. Pinkney. What do you have to say about it?
I am so appreciative
Yeah.
of the fact that we still have real men in Jamaica.
Yes.
We still have real Jamaican men around the place who are not afraid to say that this is how I'm feeling, who are not afraid to speak of it. And a good antidote rather for depression is to speak of it, and also to share the emotions that you're experiencing as a result of where you are. For you to be able to say, I really don't have it all together as I may present all the time.
Yes.
It's okay, because nobody is perfect. But you have to have strength, inner strength, and love yourself, appreciate yourself to be able to do that. The unfortunate thing is that our society, I think we're changing a little, but our society tells our little boys that they should not show their negative emotions.
Right.
So when they fall on the ground at 2 or 3 and they want to cry, we say to them, no, big boys don't cry.
Yep.
And so they suck it up. And then they become adults, they become teenagers, and then they become adults, and they don't know what to do with their those negative emotions. And so anger is part of it, or they go into depression. I'm happy for you that you have been able to get a handle on it as best as possible, and that you're not just relying on others to facilitate and to support you. That's very important. But you're also doing something to help yourself to rise above it and to be able to sustain a level of balance in your own life.
Persons know, like Patrice, or a lot of young girls and men who might have gotten molested, who are now living, mentally now going through all of this and trying to figure out what exactly is happening.
Yeah.
Them can't go to them family.
No.
Them can't go to them friends. Them go to them family tell them say, us.
Yeah.
Them don't want the community people them to hear. Them don't want John Brown. Them don't want the pastor for know, because this is embarrassment. So don't speak about it any at all. This is now you suppressing.
Not only embarrassment, they can't talk about it.
And them can't talk about it because, exactly. So how do we deal with things like these then? Because this is now an ongoing thing in our Jamaican culture. Like we've been seeing this from before me born and me old.
Yes.
Right.
Well, the thing is that, let me just mention that the Ministry of Justice has a victim services division
Okay.
that helps persons who have been victims of crime. Once it has been reported to the police, you can go to the Victim Services Division and get counseling that is fully subsidized. But I say to a young lady who is now listening and saying...
Or young man.
Or young man, yes. Who is now listening and saying, I have been molested, or I have had this X or Y thing happening to me, my family member, and so what do I do? You have to find somebody. You have to find somebody who you think that you can see. And if one person don't hear you, you go to the next person. The fact is that if you keep it to yourself, it is not going to change. I say to mothers, when your daughter or your son comes to you and says, my stepfather this, or my father this, or my uncle this, you need to start from a place that your child is speaking the truth.
My depression issue started, it has to do with my upbringing. I'm a product of the inner city, you understand me? Where I was repeatedly raped by my area leader between the age of 13 to 15. I am not going to my church to ask for help. We have been through trauma, left, right, and center, you understand me? And, the same church is protecting these gunmen. We're keeping it real, guys. Guardian, I hope I'm not stepping out of line. But mental health is really a passionate topic for me, you understand me? So when you have these same churches that are protecting, the ones who are causing harm on us, young teenage girls in the inner city, we are not going to the church to ask for help. We are not going to the church to say, hey, we are not okay, we need help. That is one of the reasons why you also have the stigma that's associated with the illness, because, persons who do need help, certain places that we're going to go for help, we're not going to go to that place for help, because then you have the church sisters, you have the pastors, and it's a whole different conversation that we can get into. We need to have safe spaces where persons can go, you understand me, discuss the issues it is that they're having, and feel safe and feel secure that whatever it is that they're discussing is in the privacy of, that environment. Yes. They're also in a safe environment where they're not seeing their attackers also. And one of the things I love with ministry is this hotline that they have. Right. When you call that hotline, there are certified professionals at the end of that hotline. You understand me? They don't even know who's talking. Right.
Yeah.
So that alone is also a safe space. But come on, guys, where are we going to send the kids who go through the situation of myself, the same situation that I go through? We can't say it has to be churches.
For me personally, I am someone who goes to the church. I was born and raised in the church, so I've not experienced what you've had, but I know a lot of people, they cannot trust the persons whom are supposed to be counselors. The church is supposed to be a place of counsel. Now, Dr. Pinckney, if you're telling us to go to the church, a lot of the listeners or viewers right now are going to say, well, I cannot trust the church.
Thank you.
Just based on experiences.
Where do they go?
So, what else?
And that is part of the unfortunate reality.
Yes.
The fact is that some of the same church leaders are also involved in some of these issues. Some of them are the perpetrators. And it is very unfortunate. I don't know that we have the one answer in order to be able to find these persons and to be able to deal with. But when they are caught, they need to be dealt with the full length of the law. Because when you rape a young lady at 5 or 6, you have changed her perspective of life.
Yes.
And you have not just scarred her for this moment, but if she does not get that help, and very often the help is not had, because either the parents push it under the carpet, or they say, I can't tell anybody no, and so on, and so the child suffers in silence.
Don't leave out that, or you get over it.
Or you'll get over it, yes?
Get over it.
But how do you get over that pain?
I wanted to answer to piggyback on a question you had asked Dr. Pinckney, right? In terms of the victim centers, that's good, but I think that more needs to be done before persons become victims. And I feel that it is very important for persons to learn in the school system how to be mentally healthy.
Yeah.
So, you have those
from
first form to third form. From first form to third form, some subjects are compulsory. You have home ec, you have some other ones. Mental health needs to be taught to the child. So that it is not a situation where when the child starts to act out, then you say, oh, we need to fix this. We need to move from a reactive to a proactive sort of thing. So that's the first solution that I think would work. The second thing, in terms of taking care of the adults, right? Each parish, each municipality, each city should have little town rallies that talk about mental health. We have people who are glad to go. We have social events for running. We have social events for music. We have clash. We have sound clash. Make it into a fun thing where you can have social events. Also, don't forget that people memorize commercials on TV all the time. There was a song in the 80s when I was a little girl. It named All We Are Saying. We can have a song that talks about how to deal with mental health problems and publish it on the TV and make it resonate in people's minds. And it will take a while, but that is how you get the attention of adults. That's how you get it. It has to, because adults are busy trying to live and trying to work and trying to provide. You have to put something that gets stuck in their psyche. The two facilities that we have are Bellevue and Ward 21. A person who is depressed cannot be in the same room as a person who has hallucinations. I was admitted to Ward 21, and I was, because of depression and because I tried to kill myself and because I took pills, and they put me in a room with somebody who was hallucinating all night, getting up and speaking weird utterances and talking to themselves and coming to my bed and spitting on me and all sorts of things. I couldn't do anything to the person because clearly I could realize that she is worse off than me in terms of her mental thing. But that affected me and that made me worse off having been in Ward 21 rather than better off.
I think there needs to be basic education about mental health because looking back in retrospect, right? I feel bad as a child because all of us who grew up in a primary school know of a person who usually gets stoned because he's a madman. You understand? And when I became an adult and I started to study mental illnesses, I realized that most of these people
Everybody that is on the road is mad, right?
Most of these people suffer from depression or anxiety, but then they get help when they need, so they get bad. Because of their situation, they can't live in a space with other people. So they end up on the road.
Yes.
You understand? So first they're dealing with the mental illness, then being on the road and people are stoning them. So first of all, we need to, as social media people and media houses, we need to have a basic education, you know, to be about psychiatry, but basic education that I know everybody who suffers from mental illness is a madman or a madwoman.
Yes.
That is the first. You have to pass that. And then when you move from there and have this basic education, people can be aware because most of the time, people who are going through depression or anxiety, they don't even want somebody to solve them situation. They want someone to say, listen, I understand or I don't understand. Talk when you're ready to talk, you may talk to me. Media houses and social media personalities, everything that we advertise out there, this is something because we have a mental health crisis in Jamaica. It's a crisis.
Yes, we do.
We have people, the rate of suicides not even talk about. People know, and one thing that upsets me, when somebody commits suicide, the first thing everybody say, look how life nice. Clearly life never nice for them to decide to take their own life. You just can't understand that depth of sadness and sorrow that brings someone to take his or own life. Everyone gets depressed, but not everyone has depression. And just
I love that.
Between it,
Good point
so
to
you
end
can
on.
understand. You understand?
Everyone gets depressed, but not everyone gets depression.
Sean Martin, Assistant Commissioner, Jamaica Fire Brigade. The Jamaica Fire Brigade take mental illness seriously. And as such, we have partnered with Guardian Life to provide mental health treatment for our employees once a diagnosis is had. What we have on our health plan with Guardian Life is psychologists and psychiatrists. So once our HR department or our welfare department identify any member suffering from any form of mental illnesses, they can be referred to the requisite professional for a diagnosis and treatment so that the member can return to his job function as quickly as possible. We realize that mental illnesses is just a form of sickness or a form of disease like any other. And with the appropriate treatment, members can return to their normal function as before. When one is in a good state, is able to make a rational decision under stress. And we pride ourselves, because our job is a high stress one, that our members should be able to function under such stress. And that is why we are so happy to be partnering with Guardian to take care of any form of mental issues identified with our employees.
Now we have a super special announcement from Nadine Pottinger, Assistant Vice President of Employee Benefit Sales.
Guardian Life Limited takes a holistic approach when catering to our clients' needs. We recognize the interconnectivity of the mental, spiritual, financial, and physical to one's health and well-being. Hence, the deliberate inclusion of all facets in our suite of insurance offerings. This is clearly illustrated in our group packages, which, in addition to the expected physical health coverage, ours carry a psychological treatment option. All group health clients, staff, can access the services that are mental health related if they so choose. Guardian believes in providing an integrated plan for wellness in all suite of our products. We pride ourselves on being the premier provider of insurance products and services for Jamaicans. It is against this background that we have embarked on a new initiative, our Health and Wellness Program, a key component of which is the inclusion of the Virgin Pulse app, which utilizes virtual technology for our clients to implement, track, set realistic goals, and enjoy rewards. We're taking wellness and holistic living to another level. Guardian Life's holistic approach is represented in this online platform, which is monitored by our international wellness partner, Virgin Pulse. It allows clients to track their wellness in a more personalized manner. We're excited about this partnership and look forward to Jamaicans engaging the app. Also, there's another awesome addition to the Health and Wellness Program. Guardian Life is pleased to announce the appointment of our brand ambassador, Patrice J. White, international fitness trainer, wellness coach, and CEO of Dynamic Lifestyle Training Studio. Patrice's own program is built around the concept of living your best life. Patrice provides clients with a broad spectrum to take care of physical, mental, financial health, and wellness in a fun, challenging, unique manner. Activities and events such as our Motivation Monday series, live workout sessions, Living Your Best Life, Wellness Wednesday provide an engaging platform for all to enjoy building a healthy lifestyle experience. We believe that through the alignment of these two strong brands, we can further create opportunities for clients to live easy, which is our brand ethos and mantra. Guardian Life will be engaging the public through traditional and social media, so be sure to follow us as we embark on the journey to living your best life.
I am excited to be participating in today's important mental health wrap session and launch of Guardian's Life Health and Wellness Program. I'm honored to be their ambassador. First, I must congratulate Guardian Life for conceptualizing such a well-needed initiative. This initiative demonstrates that Guardian Life sees its role as vanguards of change as critical success factor in supporting nation building, and in this case, especially Jamaica's behavioral health crisis. With depression rates soaring, I am heartened that Guardian Life is responding so powerfully, and even happier that it is getting such excellent support from the Ministry of Health and Wellness to try to break the back of Jamaica's silent epidemic mental health disorders. As a mental wellness advocate, lifestyle and transformational coach, I witnessed firsthand how much the pandemic not only has impacted the physical side, but also the mental side of our very existence. What is even most frightening is the worsening of our nation's mental well-being is happening across the board, regardless of socio-economic status, age, or background composition. COVID-19 is creating additional stress for children, adults, and even at the workplace. So a TV program like this is definitely a call to action as we reach out to folks and make sure that they have the help that they need so that they don't see self-harm or harming others as their only options. As devastating as the increase in behavioral needs have been, the silver lining is that through this private-public partnership inspired TV program, people will continue talking, making an effort to understand, continue facing and appreciating the role that each of us has to play. The tenets I live by are fun, family, financial wellness, and fitness. These stated are so aligned to the Guardian brand, which takes on a holistic approach to wellness, mental, physical, financial. As Guardian Life's program ambassador, I look forward to the various activities that I will be executing, such as the live interactive workout sessions, Wellness Wednesdays discussions that will take on a range of interesting topics, fitness challenges to engage the public, and much more. So, with my own belief in the power of good health and wellness, alongside Guardian Life's lifelong commitment to people's well-being, this feels like the stars are aligned, and I'm so ready and raring to go. I work out a lot by myself, but I love leading a team. There's just a positive energy that comes from teamwork. Look at these Zoomers go! 3, 4. And when you're leading the team, you're responsible for a lot of that positive energy. Every person on your team is different, but we all need a little motivation from time to time. So, if you're a business leader, what are you doing to create that environment and mindset that can motivate your team? Where do you even begin? Here's something you can do. Go to myguardiangroup.com to see the group plans available to protect your team's physical health and promote peace of mind. And a motivated team can do just about anything. Let's go, team. 1, 2. Live secure, live easy.
Often because of fear of facing the stigma, persons living with mental disorders sometimes do not want to seek help. As we learned tonight, there is no shame in going for help, and finally, knowledge is empowerment. Conversations like these help and therefore must become a part of your toolkit to help raise understanding. Such conversations are for all of us as we each can appreciate what others are going through and try to offer support. A positive outlook on life, irrespective of what is actually going on, will help you through difficult times. So, to all, live with purpose, set goals, don't allow fear to silence or limit you. A special thanks to Dr. Joan Pinkney and to our participants who shared their personal stories, Patrice J. White, Julie Mango Bodley, and Raul Blaze, for such insight, and for all those who joined us and all who worked behind the scenes to make this program happen. Remember, ya things from Kareem Boya Things.